It's always
yeah.
fun.
And we
So
did
glad
our
you're here.
first. We switch back and forth every year. One of us takes turns doing the first half and second half. This year it was your guys' turn. So couple hours ago we recorded our first half of. We're doing a top 6 this year because we could do 7 hours of podcasting, but we decided to stick to closer to 3 this time. So the 6, 5, and 4 are on the Talking Dead podcast, which you can find over at talkingdeadpodcast.com, right?
Correct.
Cool. And the other half you can find by just sitting right there and listening, because we're about to say it.
Don't move. It's about to happen.
Whatever you do, you can only mess it up.
Yeah. Don't take those headphones off.
All right. Well, let's get right into it.
Attention shoppers, Deadcast Top 3 in 5, 4,
3, 2.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
That's amazing.
great. Who's the voice?
Melissa.
I recognize it.
She did that zombie sound too. I think Duncan put some spin on it, but that was pretty good.
It's really good.
Really nicely done.
So it's fitting here too, because we only have 3 left. So it's our Deadcast top 3. It's our top 3 highlights for Walking Dead season 6, and we'll let our guests of honor go first. Which one you guys
Jason,
want to go first?
you start, because I feel like you got the shaft a little bit on our half of this thing. So why don't you blow us away with something amazing and original right now?
Blow us away? I'm not sure about that. Actually, why don't I just go down that line of inquiry, and I'm going to go with Chekhov's RPG. So
That's good.
this is the RPG that Abraham found by magic. Essentially, it looked like it was just a BFG spawn location. So they're just kind of he's just kind of standing around, and all of a sudden, hanging by a fence post is a rocket-propelled grenade launcher, and somehow he also managed to find additional rounds of ammo for it. So when you show a weapon in the first act, it gets to go off by the third act, and we got a couple of them. We got Daryl shooting a bunch of bikers who were all, conveniently bunched up and sitting at their sitting on their bikes, so they were nice and close together for a nice explosion to kill them all. And did everybody notice the car in the background of that shot?
No. What was the car?
So in the original, and actually in the iTunes one that I downloaded recently. Just before the rocket blows up and kills all the bikers, way in the background you can see just the little tiny hood of a car drive by. And that was
I heard about that.
Eventually edited out. So it was a production mistake. Somebody let somebody drive onto the scene as they were shooting it, and it didn't get removed. So there was some speculation by us and by others about what that car was, whether it was Negan's group watching what was happening or not. But as it turns out, it was just a production mistake, and it turned out to be nothing. So, and the second point,
fascinating.
The second point I wanted to bring up about this rocket-propelled grenade was that this was the device used by Daryl to start the pond on fire in order to grab all the walkers from Alexandria and help save the town. And that ultimately is completely ridiculous. So first of all, dumping a bunch of gasoline into a pond and then lighting it on fire with a heavy weapon of some kind. It seemed kind of ridiculous.
Looked cool though.
It did look cool. But Jason and Karen, what did you think about that scene?
A couple things. First of all, I don't think it's fair that poor Abraham finds the RPG and then Daryl gets to fire off the only 2 rounds.
That's true. Abraham did get the dress blues, though.
That's true. See, he would have been the perfect person to. Yeah. And the other thing is, there have been a few cases of people talking about how zombies or walkers head towards the fire. there was when that episode that Dwight was first introduced, and they talked about how when the zombie apocalypse first happened, they had started a fire in the woods, and the zombies from all around the area were drawn to it. And so you see a lot of crispy Zeds around there. And then here, the same thing when he fires into the lake of, what was that? They had spilled some fuel, right?
Fuel.
It was the fuel truck. He had dumped all the fuel from the fuel truck.
The Fat Trick fuel truck.
Right.
And, but when back in season 2, when me and my 100 best pal zombies stormed Herschel's farm and the barn lit on fire, we didn't care. We walked away from it.
You were too busy walking towards Herschel for some reason.
Yeah.
Well,
that's just a little inconsistency.
Maybe by now the zombies have changed and evolved, and now they're all about fire. Maybe
when the zombie apocalypse first started and the saviors lit that fire, they went towards it, and then somewhere in between they evolved to be not care, and then they evolved back later on.
Yes, they're very fickle. Zombies are ever changing,
evolving and devolving all the time.
Well, the way I think of stuff like that is that zombies have residual memories from when they were alive, and people are nothing if not completely inconsistent. So maybe that explains why some of them like fire, some of them don't, and they all just kind of have this herd mentality. It's like if one zombie likes fire, it's like, well, I'll just follow that guy because that's what I want to do.
Right.
He seems to think brains taste good.
Yeah. Maybe I'll try some this time. That car that was in the background. We had a listener tell us that when the episode re-aired, they didn't see it, so they edited that bit out for like a re-airing of that episode. And I think that's the first time I've ever heard of them doing something like that. But I don't know, maybe it happens all the time. But everyone noticed it. So
that because in Lost, everybody poured over every frame of that looking for clues, and that would happen occasionally. I think it happened once or twice on Lost.
In the cabin, there was a reflection of somebody, and they're like, "Oh my God, that's Jacob."
Yeah.
No, that was just the cameraman.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And even, but there would be cars driving around on this mysterious island.
Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. In the background.
Oh, that's hilarious.
God, they got to be so careful these days. Everyone is such eagle-eyed,
Well, I specifically deleted my my version, my iTunes version of it from my local machine and re-downloaded it, hoping that it was edited out in the new version in iTunes, but it wasn't. It was still there. Huh. So if you grab it from iTunes, right just before the explosion, you can see the car just go by in the far distance.
With Jeffrey Dean Morgan driving?
That probably, yeah. Just assume.
It was his first day. He was just arriving on set.
Where am I going? I thought that I was supposed to turn left.
Hey, everybody, I'm Negan.
Wrong turn.
So, all right, cool.
So that's me. That's Chris. You're next.
We're on you, Chris.
Sure. So my number 3 is how certain events this season seem to follow the comic a little bit more closely. And I feel like that's been a trend a little bit since Scott Gimple took over. I think he really likes to stick to the comics a little bit more than the previous showrunners did. In the past, they were more kind of just influenced by the comics, but it felt a little bit more separated to me anyways. But Scott Gimple, I feel like he likes to do it a little bit more closely. And I mean, the biggest example here, I think, would be episode 8, which is the mid-season premiere, where a ton of comic stuff happened, and it was really, really similar. I don't know. I mean, I don't really want to spoil the comics too much, but if you watch the episode, I mean, it's basically straight out of the page.
Wait. 8 is the finale. This is the mid-season finale.
Oh, sorry. Then 9. Sorry.
You're talking 9. Okay.
9, the one where they come back. So where
No Way Out.
Where
Sam and
all that
Carl's
stuff
eye
happens.
gets shot out, and
The
Correct.
biker gang exploded.
Right. That is that the one that happened in?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Is it really?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Episode 9, No Way Out.
All
Biker
right.
gang explodes.
Well, I'm talking mostly about Carl's getting shot and Rick having to chop off Jesse's hand and all that stuff. But the point I want to make is sometimes I feel like knowing the comics so well and watching the show and knowing what's about to happen, not that I'm let down, but I sometimes feel like I can predict it a little bit too well, especially since Scott Gimple took over. But watching this episode, I watched it and I kind of knew what was going to happen, and then it all played out, and I realized that I still thought it was amazing and I loved it. And it proved to me that they can do storylines right out of the comic on the TV show in a compelling way and still make it amazing. And I was sort of really, really happy about that, because up until then, I had felt that maybe Gimple was staying a little too faithful in some ways and in some scenes. So I thought, this really excited me that they did this so well. Another example would be Dr. Denise getting killed. Not exactly like the comic, but it was very similar to what happened in the comic. And again, I thought it was really well done on the show. The introduction of the hilltop and the way it looked and stuff like that, the subtle way that they introduced those guys in the armor towards the end of the season. All of it I thought was really well done, and all of it is comic stuff. Yeah, with Gregory the hilltop.
Was awesome.
He was awesome. The hilltop looked great.
The Denise thing is a good example of kind of a fake out, where I'll go ahead and say that happened, but it was to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I got spoiled on that, so I knew it was going to be her. I wish I hadn't, because it would have been a total "oh my god" moment. The whole episode, I was like, "When's it going to happen?" When I was like, kind of eyes half closed, knowing that an arrow was going to come through her head at any moment.
Oh man, how did you end up getting spoiled on that?
I went online and I think I was just getting news for the podcast, and ran across. It was in a headline.
Stupid internet.
Really?
That's the worst.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Exactly. Keep it. Don't ruin it for everybody, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
If you're gonna post spoilers, just warn about it. Most sites are pretty good about that, but occasionally it shows up in the headline.
Yeah, that's not cool. Anyway, comic stuff I thought was done really well this season, and I still thought it was amazing and compelling to watch. So that's my number 3.
Nice.
Excellent.
Yeah, I agree. Sometimes it when they do stuff out of the comics, it feels like a little bit forced. But I think maybe they're getting better at integrating that stuff so it's more natural.
I think so. And my problem was just that I felt like I could see everything coming from a mile away. And I mean, that's just the way it is when you have source material sometimes. But there were certain times when I thought, oh, I wish I didn't know what was about to happen, or at least have a good theory on it. But the stuff with Jesse and Carl, I kind of knew, but I loved it anyway. So I was really happy.
Did you guys go back and compare Negan's soliloquy with the comics?
I didn't directly do it, but I did see an article about how it was very close, word for word in some cases, just with a lot of the F-bombs removed.
That's basically it. They just took out all the Fs.
Yeah.
And
Come on.
Whenever a sentence worked without an F-bomb, they just took it out. And then if it needed to have something there, they'd use different words. But there's a lot of shits and pricks and all this other stuff. They just left that in word for word.
That's cool.
And it worked way better than I thought it would, because you always wonder how they're going to do Negan. He's the basis of that whole fuckity fuck thing.
Right.
And but I think it worked pretty well.
I think it worked well too. His language, his speech. Jeffrey Dean Morgan delivered it so well. That helped a lot too. But I mean, I heard that they filmed it both ways though. So we'll probably get
the Blu-ray
extras.
We'll get the fuck version on the Blu-ray. Exactly. That'd be great.
Can't wait.
I do look forward to that.
My mother, can we talk about Jeffrey Dean Morgan just for a second? My mom is a big fan of Jeffrey Dean Morgan, and she actually likes The Walking Dead, and she was beside herself when I told her that he was joining the cast. She was so excited that she could barely even talk when I was talking to her on the phone.
I've asked a million times if we could get Jason's mom on our podcast, and it's never happened. So
she would never ever do it. She's a very private person. She doesn't like talking in public. Even at my wedding, she had written a speech but got too nervous to actually give it. There's no way in hell that she would ever get behind a microphone.
Oh, someday.
You should. Well, if we ever get Jeffrey Dean Morgan to a Walker Stalker, I wonder if you could
There
drag
you
her out to
go.
one of
We
those.
might be able to drag. Oh no, she would just she would be too nervous to leave
Freeze
the
up.
hotel.
Her head would explode.
Oh, that's funny.
So that's it. Yeah, I just wanted to talk about Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Right. And I suspect we're going to talk a little more about Jeffrey Dean Morgan. But back to episode 9, No Way Out. I wanted to go next because I want to just talk about, I love that whole episode. And my next one comes from a little segment, just a tiny little segment of that episode. But I think it represents how strong the show is at points. This is sort of an uneven season in some ways for me. But this last little bits, it's when the last couple moments of that episode, they go into zombie killing mode. And so Rick goes outside, and then everybody eventually joins up and decides to fight the zombies coming into Alexandria. And so it was a quick cut montage of each Alexandrian fighting. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And they had amazing
Awesome.
music. Yeah, and the way that they shot it was so cool. So it speeds up until it's just one person centered in the shot. So at first it's sort of a large shot, and then it sort of zooms in, and then it's just one person, boom, 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 fighting the zombies centered in the shot. And it's so cool. And then finally it's fade to black, and then it fades back in, and it's the smoky morning from the next morning. And it was just such a cool moment of how when they're on, man, it's such a great show.
That's the culmination of the Alexandrians. When they first got to Alexandria, you saw Aiden and Nicholas were idiots and couldn't kill a zombie to save their lives. This is like after the training and the pep talks and everything. They do more than we've ever seen any people that have been able to do on this show before. They just it's pretty incredible that they were, it's fiction, but that they were able to get rid of that whole horde just by sheer
will,
determination. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you brought that up, though, because I kind of forgot about that scene, but I remember talking about it, and I remember how much I loved it, and it was such a cool way to do just the intensity of this battle they were in, and I loved how it just ended up in these really quick cuts of straight on everybody just swinging their weapon. You didn't even need the zombies in the shot to make it effective and amazing. And that's actually one of my favorite individual scenes of the whole season, I think.
It was good. Yeah. I liked it.
It reminds me of going back to Lost again. There were some scenes where the smoke monster was chasing them through the jungle, and you just see Charlie running like crazy with the camera right in front of him.
Yeah.
And the background's kind of blurry, and you wonder, how did they film that? Did the camera have to just be going backwards through the jungle really fast? Well, it turns out that he was running in place, going all crazy, but because the background was blurred, it looked like he was running fast, and it worked really well. Kind of reminded me of that.
That's hilarious. It's like in old timey movies when people are in cars and they're just sitting in a still car, but there's like a video clip playing
Pictures
behind
on
them
the side,
on the outside. Yeah. but it looks way better.
So
Bounce up and
awesome.
down a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, my turn. Number 3. Well, first off, watching this, I was glad to watch. I didn't watch all the episodes again, but I watched a lot of them, and it felt really good because I felt like this season was uneven too. But going back and watching it, it gave me the experience. Or it reminded me of a lot of high points, and they were great. There were some really high points, and it made me feel good about, okay, good. This is a good show. I'm glad I'm podcasting about this.
Yeah.
And so, because, like when we went back and watched season 2 again, I didn't have that feeling. I was like, oh man, there was a slog. There were some good scenes in that season 2, but I was more surprised at how much I didn't like it as much the second time. But with this season, there were some great ones. So I just wanted to go over some of the high points of the season really quick. My favorite episode, you guys talked about it a little bit already, was Here's Not Here.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
with
Yes.
Morgan
Yes.
and Eastman. It was such a breath of fresh air to have focus on that zenness, and I love that they are badasses, but he sands down the sharp point of Morgan's stick and makes it a bow staff, and with that comes this new philosophy of be prepared to defend yourself, but every life is sacred and every life has potential. And if there were too many episodes like that, even I would be like, well, they're getting kind of preachy with that. But I think the balance on this show is way skewed over to the other side of kill, be a badass.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to see a focus on, you don't have to just kill everything that moves. In fact, let's look at the other extreme and see this guy who's dealt with all these dangerous criminals and still manages to have this philosophy of, and he said, every one of them could be healed, he thought. So, and I thought he did such an amazing job. John Carroll Lynch, he was such a good, the way they played off of each other. And I loved when he told him the cage or the cell was open. And then you see Morgan just rush towards the cell. And then there's a commercial break, and then the next commercial, he rushes through and tries to kill him, and the guy subdues him. And then Morgan said a few times during that episode, "Kill me."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another highlight was the Negan scene. I loved it until the end. I also thought it was a little silly that it just so happened that everybody decided to go on that trip so that you would have everybody out there. But once they were all out in the dark forest, lined up on their knees, Rick, Glenn, Maggie, Michonne, Daryl, Carol, Abraham, Rosita, Eugene, Aaron, and Sasha, all the major players, with all these dozens and dozens of bad guys around, and this villain giving this great 15-minute speech. I was electrified by that scene.
Yeah, there's no denying Jeffrey Dean Morgan was fantastic. And I loved everything about that scene until the part that I didn't like. And that was it.
Great up until it wasn't.
That's right. That's right. Going back to the Morgan episode, what really did it for me in that episode was the two actors. I mean, they were just both so great, and they worked together really well. And that's the biggest thing I think that worked in that episode that made it work for me, especially once I had some time to process it a little bit.
The music really was good too. It was very gentle and zen,
right?
And kind of moving. With the Negan scene, one of my favorite things about it was the dialogue. Just a couple of examples. I loved when he looked at Carl and said, "Shit, kid, lighten up. At least cry a little." And then when he looked at Abraham and he was looking at him like, you wonder what he's thinking. And then he's like, I got to shave this shit.
That's right.
But I hope Negan can stay as interesting as he was in that scene. We'll see.
Yeah.
Then another one that was great that we talked about a little bit was the attack of the wolves, starting with the smoker being killed, and then just how that whole thing played out. It was just all of a sudden total carnage.
Mm-hmm.
You'd see a dead person laying in the street with one of those wolves hacking their arm off. It's like, holy shit. And then when Morgan came out and faced off against three of them, and it was so kung fu. I loved it.
It was very cool. And it's not on my list, but I considered it just the way they ended up resolving the storyline of that one wolf that they had captured for a little while. The alpha wolf, I think they were calling him. I don't remember if he had an actual name, but he tried to escape with Denise and it didn't work out. And then he ended up kind of helping her escape and saving her a little bit. And I was kind of surprised how much I liked that, actually, after this guy being this bad character and he attacked them and, he sort of took her hostage and then suddenly he's helping her. And I thought that ended up working really well. And just the way it affected the characters like Carol and Morgan and even Denise and so on, it was pretty good. So even though the wolves, I felt like sort of came out of nowhere and then they were gone all of a sudden, what they did with that one guy worked really well for me.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I mean, well, I'm of two minds. I mean, the wolves, I don't think really hold together as a practical concept because they're so into just killing and taking whatever that I can't imagine them being. What are their town hall meetings like? You know, I mean, I just, I don't know, but I feel like they've mostly functioned
Really?
as a force to test Morgan's philosophy. Morgan had this philosophy of, I'm not going to kill anyone no matter how evil they seem. So then the show throws the most evil, brutal people possible at them. And this guy, Alpha Wolf or whatever, he was saying, you know, I'm going to have to kill you and I'm going to kill all the women and children here too. Just like very matter of fact about that. And then, you know, I don't know how far away it was showtime, but it felt a bit abrupt to me. I mean, I appreciate that it turns out Morgan's philosophy was right, but it just felt really abrupt for him to suddenly turn around like that and be a good guy after everything that we'd seen before that.
Yeah, I don't know if he was completely a good guy. I don't really see that one act at the end as completely redeeming him. I just think that it was interesting that in the moment and when it came down to it, he didn't, you know, shoot her in the leg and run away. He kind of pushed her away or pushed the zombie away and sacrificed himself.
Selfless act.
So she could get away. And
Everyone has layers.
that's right. Everyone is complicated. In 1 minute, they're a complete bad guy. And the next minute, they're saving you. So it was...
What was one thing that was interesting about that is during that whole wolf attack, Carol killed one of the wolves, just matter of factly. And Morgan said, hey, you didn't have to do that. And she's like, oh yeah, I did. And he goes, no, you didn't. You don't like doing that, or you don't want to do that or something. And Carol looked a little taken aback, like, oh, I hadn't really thought about that. And then this scene, she saw that too. She saw the wolf commit a kind act. And I think those two incidents, which is all because of Morgan, and then if you take that back far enough, Eastman, are what put the crack in Carol's facade so that she started to really let all that guilt and whatever trauma come in. You know, she'd done really well at armoring herself against it up until this series of moments here.
Yeah.
So I think it was Morgan was the catalyst to have her start breaking down and feeling her emotions about all that.
Which maybe ended up not being so great because, you know, she ends up running away.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah, it could lead.
that's true.
Could lead to something pretty interesting, I think.
Good. I'm glad. Not that you didn't spoil it. Don't worry. Hey, do you think the Wolves town hall meeting involves barbecue?
Yeah, they barbecue up one of the wolves each meeting.
Yeah, I agree with it. The wolves kind of seemed like well-organized anarchists, which is a contradiction in terms.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Well, but I think we talked about them like just attacking without thinking, and that's why their plan didn't really go so well. Like, I guess they killed some Alexandrians, but they didn't take over the town. They all got driven away. They failed, yeah. So I don't know how well organized they are, but maybe slightly.
But they were able to like train get those zombies wrangled up in those trucks or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
So I don't know. I was sort of wondering, are we going to really get to know them and understand how they operate? But I think we didn't, and they were mostly just intended to be kind of a faceless villain, you know?
Right. I mean,
to test our characters.
Now that we've been talking about it, it kind of feels like they were just a stepping stone in this season to get from one thing to the next, but
yeah, a bit.
I try not to think about it like that because I think there was some stuff about it that I liked still. So,
me too. I mean, I like I said, this is a list of my highlights, and that whole sequence was just amazing. And I did like Morgan's interaction with that Alpha Wolf guy too. So, scenes with Rick just being really callous this whole season. I love seeing his descent into darkness. That's what I consider it anyway. And I can't wait. And I mean, I don't know. They could take it too far. I think at some point he's going to have some kind of a reckoning with all of this. But it's fascinating to see him change because I think Andrew Lincoln does it so well. Even just the way his face seems tighter and his movements and his eyes are like half closed now.
Mm-hmm.
And He just seems like a different person. Scenes with Sam, I loved. He's got this crayon drawings with himself tied to a tree with two zombies because Carol scared the shit
Carol.
out of him. He's afraid to come halfway downstairs just to get cookies from mom. Although maybe if she had something besides cookies, he might have been more okay with it. All that stuff is really moving to me, and it's sad, but that's why I consider it a highlight, just because I thought the actor did a great job too, but it's really moving.
Even tiptoe through the tulips.
Yeah, I love that. The scene with Rick sitting at Carl's bedside after he got shot in the eye, and he was very emotional. I want to show you the new world, Carl. That was good.
Yeah, Andrew Lincoln's amazing. He's such a face actor.
He really is.
That's what I call him. Like he can do so much
Yeah.
with just his eyes and his face, and he's amazing. And it's scenes like that where he's just sitting there talking to Carl, or when they first drove up to Alexandria and he's sitting outside in the gate and you can hear like the noises of kids inside. Andrew Lincoln just nails those things with his facial
Yep.
expressions.
That was another. That was last season, right?
It was, yeah.
That was a great moment. Yeah. I'll just say one more, that when the whole episode where Jesus got introduced was really, I loved it because it felt like a comedy, and you wouldn't think that Walking Dead could pull that off, but I really felt like they did, especially with Rick and Daryl.
Yes.
That last scene, it's pretty stupid of us to go out there, isn't it? Yep. Do it again tomorrow? Yep.
Now, did all of you guys end up watching that scene with Jesus and Daryl and Rick in the field with set to the
Benny Hill
Benny
music.
Hill.
Oh yeah.
Benny Hill theme? Yeah. Oh, that was so great.
It was so funny.
Somebody needs to speed up the footage for that.
It was surprising how well it worked, though. You just throw that music
Yeah.
on the scene, and it was perfect.
Yes.
So I got to interview Tom Payne, who played Jesus. Amazingly cool guy, British, and he loved that too. He tweeted it out. He retweeted it out.
Oh, that's awesome. Is he beautiful in real life? He must be.
He is. He's kind of elf-like. He's much smaller than you might imagine.
Oh, really?
But
They all are.
he's very he's jazzed about the show, and he's very confident about his character. He's like, "Oh yeah, Jesus could have just taken Rick's and Carl's weapons off of them and subdued them at any minute, but he was just biding his time trying to see what kind of guys they were. But they don't know, but he could have just totally handled the situation." He said, "I didn't tell Andrew Lincoln and Norman Reedus that, but that's the way it is."
He's just toying with them
That's
at any moment.
yeah.
Awesome.
Maybe it was your interview that I listened to, but I heard him talking about getting the part and being on set less than a week later or something. So at first he had to have a fake beard, but then he grew his real beard. Something like that. I thought that was kind of a fun little tidbit there.
Yeah, and he's learning all that kung fu and everything.
Yeah. Such a cool character, and he does
Pretty
seem
awesome.
like a really
And
cool
he
guy.
totally owns Daryl and
Totally.
Rick in that episode.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially like he shows up in at the end, hovering over Rick and Michonne naked in bed. We got to talk.
Oh
It
yeah.
all.
Really picks his moments well. Yeah.
And he knew exactly how many people were in the town and everything.
Yeah.
He'd been scouting it out.
He's a smart guy.
All right. Number
Two.
2,
It's Jason.
Yeah.
Back to Jason.
Jason.
Oh, okay. So for this one, I'm just picking a very specific moment that I really, really liked, and it was brutal and beautiful. It was Abraham's breakup with Rosita. It was
Oh.
specifically the line, "When I met you, I thought you were the last woman on earth. You're not."
Oh,
Oh.
Just so harsh and brutal. And it's my favorite line in the whole season.
Really?
And it was just, yes. And it was just like it felt like somebody punched me in the gut. It was so brutal. It's such a nasty, evil, awful thing to say to her in a breakup. Like, let her down gently, for crying out loud. I just don't love you anymore, and I don't want to be with you. That's even less brutal than that.
Mm-hmm.
Because that line just completely negated their whole relationship.
Yep.
Because I thought you were the last woman on earth, and that's the only reason I was ever with you, but I was wrong, and you're not, so I'm just going to drop you. It was so nasty.
Oh God.
So I just wanted to focus on that one moment, and it was just
Why Why did he do
Why?
that? Why didn't he just
Yeah,
say,
why
look,
did
I'm
he do
having
that?
feelings for Sasha? Why do you think, Jason?
I think it's how he felt. I think and he's been saying things leading up to that. Abraham's sayings were getting more and more strange, and I think that they needed to have his character say weird things to lead up into that, in order to get away with saying something so brutal and harsh. But as to motivations, I think it was just honest. I think that's actually how he felt. That he.
He's not one for diplomacy then?
He's not one for
Oh,
diplomacy,
God.
and he just he met up with Eugene and Rosita, and he hooked up with Rosita because he was the only woman around. She was the only woman around.
Which is crazy because she is the most gorgeous actress. I mean, she's
And badass,
oh
too.
my God, yes,
Yeah.
she's strong, intelligent, and beautiful.
Yeah.
If she was the last person on Earth and you were a guy, you'd be pretty happy that
Yeah, count
it was
yourself
her.
lucky.
Yeah, you could do
And
a
then
lot
right
worse.
after he said that, Eugene is standing there eating a cookie, one of
Oh, yeah.
Carol's cookies, wearing a Virginia is for Lovers t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's always standing in the
Yes.
background. It was just
He said
it was-
something, too.
He did. He said, "Have you tried one of these things?"
See, that's another example of the show doing something really funny that kind of worked.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
Yes.
you know, with Abraham, I remember thinking, yeah, my God, he is just such an asshole to her. And, you know, if you can, if in the real world, like if you're going to be that much of an asshole and you break up with someone, maybe you never have to see them again. And I'm not saying it's any
Right.
better, but like you
Yeah.
move away to another city or whatever.
Oh no,
and
it's
that's it.
better.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. But in here, there's like 56 people living in a town or whatever it is.
She
And
can't escape.
You can't get away from each other. It's
No.
like, why not try to just go easy on each other? I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if it's something like, it reminds me of this old episode of Land of the Lost where, I think it was Land of the Lost, this kid wants this pet dinosaur to go away and the dinosaur won't leave him alone. So he just starts throwing rocks at it and saying, I don't like you anymore. Get away. Just to really make a clean break. I wonder if it was something like that where he's just like, I want her to hate me so that I won't have any choice or something. I mean, I'm not excusing it. I think it's still dumb and he should have just, if that's the case, he should have just said, hey, I'm sorry, I'm having feelings for Sasha. But I wonder if that's what it was. Because it's hard to believe that he has no feeling for her, you know,
it kind
that
of
he wouldn't
is.
be somewhat
Yeah, it kind
kind.
of goes against his character because we know him to be a caring person, right? Don't
Well,
we?
I don't
I'm
know.
not so sure. I mean, after that, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
you know, but the other thing is, like I was saying, it's a small town, so he wants to make the switch, right? He wants to break up with one girl, to go out with another one.
Now that you
it's-
mention this, I'm so mad. I want him to be beaten to death by Negan.
Or maybe by Sasha or Rosita. But
Yeah.
it's like those two women in theory are friends. It's like, you know, they're going to
Yeah.
talk. Rosita's going to go, you know, he was a real asshole to me. I don't know if you want to be with him. And so Abraham gets screwed. Not really though.
I hope David listens to this episode so he knows.
I'm vengeful.
Don't ever cross Karen.
No,
Yeah.
because I'll get a bat and wrap it with fucking barbed wire, and I will beat your ass.
Well, here's a question
Let
for
that
you.
be
And
a warning.
I posed this question on our podcast when the finale first aired, was that if Sasha gets beaten to death by Negan, will Abraham go back to Rosita? Because now she's the last woman on Earth again.
Pretty
I don't
sure
think she's gonna take
Yeah,
him.
pretty sure she'd be like, I don't think so, buddy.
Yeah. Well, obviously she
You'd
has a
hope
choice,
so.
but would he woo her again, saying, "Hey, you know, I'm sorry, but turns out you are the last woman on Earth." You,
No, there's other women in Alexandria.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he.
Hey, Carol, hey.
I think he burned that bridge.
probably.
Yeah, there's no going back.
You would hope
Yeah,
so.
going back.
Yeah, I mean, no self-respecting woman's going to go back to that. I don't think.
Man.
Okay, where are we?
We're
Uh,
at Chris.
Chris.
For Chris now, yeah.
Okay, so my number 2 is the return of Maggie. And I wanted to talk about this a little bit because you guys correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like Maggie has not had anything to do on this show in a while. And not season 6, but I'm talking about season 5. I didn't feel like that character was really used very much. She felt always on the periphery and not really doing a lot. I'm sure, a listener might correct me because maybe I'm forgetting something, but that's just sort of the feeling I have. And I've always liked
She's
Maggie.
looking for Glenn.
Yeah, looking for Glenn, but that's it. I mean, and her sister was missing, and we never really got much about that,
She didn't seem
to care. Exactly. But then in season 6, Maggie had all kinds of stuff to do, and I was very happy. So, early on in the season, she was working with Deanna, kind of running the town and making plans and drawing things up. Not that that's super exciting or anything, but it's something. And then she had her episode with Aaron when she wanted to go out looking for Glenn, and that was good for her and Aaron, I think, because he didn't do a lot this year either.
And they got to find those shit zombies, which was awesome.
Oh, those were awesome in the tunnels, not tunnels, like sewers or whatever they were.
Oh yeah,
whatever.
And then she was key in the negotiations with Gregory. That was all about her.
That was my favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking with him and him trying to sort of intimidate her and so on, and she didn't let it really happen.
Not only that, but she got really good terms from them, right? Half of your stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take care of Negan.
Yeah, she really stepped up there. Of course, she was a huge part in the episode, the bottle episode we've mentioned. That was episode 13, The Same Boat, right? Where her and Carol were held captive. That was a great episode. She had lots to do there. And then I realized, while putting this together, is she was sort of the primary reason for the whole group leaving Alexandria in the season finale. She's pregnant, of course. She was having some sort of complications with the pregnancy, and they needed to get her to that doctor who was at the hilltop. So they all left and went out because of Maggie. And we all know where that ended up. So, they're arguably now in the worst spot they've been in ever in this show on 6 seasons. And all of this is sort of culminated because they needed to leave because of Maggie. So I'm just glad that Maggie's back and Lauren Cohan has something to do on the show. And it's good because she's one of my favorite characters.
Hopefully she doesn't get beaten to death.
Oh, God, I hope not.
She might.
She might.
Yeah, I agree totally with everything you said. And I really liked the scenes between her and Gregory because he was getting real sleazy with her and she just handled it so well. And that was really fun to watch.
It's a side of Maggie's personality that I don't think we've ever really seen before. And, we like to see characters evolve and develop and so on. And that was really important for her.
And her work with Deanna really, I think, has helped her get some confidence in herself as a leader, And Rick wanted her to negotiate with Gregory because he thought if he did it, he would end up killing him literally, I think.
Right. Yeah.
That's why he's like, it better not be me.
Yeah, absolutely. He put Maggie in charge of that, but it's all building her character up a little bit. Hopefully not to get beaten to death, but hopefully to become a bit of a leader and a little bit more confident or self-sufficient or something like that. So it was good to see Maggie doing stuff.
Yep,
I agree.
Hope she can do all right without Glenn.
What?
Yeah.
So now Karen.
So we already talked about what my number 2 was, which is the episode Here's Not Here. Great episode, and we already really went into that. So I'm going to go ahead for my little notes and just say one little random thing, which is the zombies looked amazing this season. And Greg Nicotero, thank you. You're a badass. And that's really all I wanted to say was that the zombies look beautiful and they keep evolving and they keep getting they are degrading because of course they're older and falling apart. Not all of them obviously are older, but some of them are older. And he keeps finding ways to reinvent the zombie and reinvent the zombie kill too, which is really fun. So that's it for me.
Greg Nicotero so knows what he's doing. That guy is so talented. It is really just incredible.
I'm thinking of the one squeezing through the two trucks at the quarry and
yeah.
like flapped so the skin was coming
Yes.
off.
Nasty.
Yes.
Or
Yeah.
the poop zombies were awesome.
Yep.
That stands out.
When Carol is she runs away in I think the second to last episode, and she's weak because she's been beaten, and a zombie attacks her right before we see Morgan come up, and she pulls the hair. It's a female zombie, and she sort of pulls the hair like she's going to pull the head back, and the hair and scalp sort of globbly come off. Yeah, it's gross. Yeah, it's great.
That's awesome.
It's so fun what they can do with zombies and skin peeling off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
All the different ways you can peel off a zombie's skin.
Yeah. But one thing, I'll throw this in there, that covering Fear the Walking Dead, I really love going back to the beginning. I guess that's what it is, or also just the moodiness of that show. It's more like, you know, I'm a fan of zombies, and it's more like, oh yeah, this is a good zombie show because the zombies are still scary, and it feels like a horror movie. And Walking Dead is great, and I have a new appreciation for this season after going back to it, but it feels more like an action movie. It's not a scary horror movie as much. So I just wanted to throw in a little praise for Fear the Walking Dead, because that's one area where I feel like it has a leg up right now.
You know,
That's a
Fear
good
the
point.
Walking Dead season 2 has been pretty good so far. We, of course, cover it too. And for the most part, I thought all the first 7 episodes were pretty great. I don't think they stuck the ending quite well, but you're right. It is good, and it's able to do some things a little differently and so on. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Okay. My number 2, this is the kill spectrum. There's on one side preemptive killing of anything that could possibly be a threat. To the other side, every life is sacred. Even if a guy is pointing a gun at you and about to pull the trigger, you don't kill him. And I feel like Rick is on the extreme of killing. In the season premiere, I think the first thing he says this season is, "This is an insane world. We have to come for them or they come for us. It's that simple." And he's talking about the zombies when he says that, but later on, it's pretty clear that he feels like that about everybody,
Yep.
including the saviors who they go to kill, right? And he sees that guy, Karen, you mentioned the guys in the armor. When he sees him and Morgan are together, he just starts firing at him.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, there's somebody I don't know. Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. Like, really?
Like, what?
Yeah.
If Tyrese and Daryl would have let him, he'd have gone in and killed all of those people in the hospital, including Noah. He would kill
Yeah.
Noah in his sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So on the other side is Morgan, who has decided he has a strict rule against killing even the most dangerous people, which can be dangerous too. And I wasn't sure he was doing the right thing, not killing that alpha wolf. I think he got lucky, to be honest, with that one. But I so respect that. And what made me respect him even more is that when the savior guy was about to kill Carol, and Morgan killed him. And it's